against you. Okay. We here at Psychcore like to prepare our lectures for you. So, cleaning off the whiteboard, that's known as an eraser, right? Anyway, the irony behind this, folks, is I don't. The irony behind this gossamer flying off of this stuff is that I think it's actually easier to erase a wooden whiteboard with a scraper than a real whiteboard with an eraser. So anyway, at least there's no traces left behind. That actually worked really well. Sometimes you go for a shtick and you end up with something cool, which feeds us back into what we were talking about, right? Antecedents, behaviors, and consequences. So remember, we're just kind of summarizing what you've learned here a little bit. So antecedents are the things that happen before behavior. These are called discriminative stimuli. These are things you detect. Now, to kind of go over, put a big picture on it, is you learn to behave in certain situations and contexts. Those antecedents are those contexts. So then we talk about the consequence, right? So you can't really talk about antecedents without talking about the consequence. Why? Because the consequence happens in a context. What you as a person learn is that engaging in certain behaviors in this setting, at this time, at this moment, with this person, will work, or it won't work. It's all about function, right? So when we talk about behavior analysis, when we talk about this field that we're in, we're literally just talking about what is the function of behavior. How does a behavior function? How does it not function? What's coming from a behavior, right? What does a behavior earn you? What is the reinforcer? What is the punisher for that matter? Why is the behavior reducing? Something's punishing it. Why is the behavior increasing? Something's reinforcing it, right? Or something's prompting it to happen, okay? So those prompts, we often call them discriminative stimuli. They can be, there's some more detail in there, and I'm kind of mixing some terms, and that's okay for now. But in the context of writing on my nice wooden whiteboard, that's the discriminative stimulus. A use of a scraper will remove those letters, the writing, right? So the use of the scraper is the behavior, right? So this scraper, okay, all of that is being reinforced by the writing disappearing, and you watched that happen. So in the future, in more lectures, I'll probably use this again because that's a great little example. So it probably got reinforced, right? So hopefully, anyway. But that's also connected to another set of behaviors, the scraper. I had to keep this thing sharp. Let me grab my, where's my other, I have my tool out here. I kind of hate working in a garage. I really wish I was working in a shop. Where did I set that thing? I don't remember. It's probably right where the cameraman is. No, it's not. Never mind. Let's see here. Anyway, so the point what I was going to get at was showing you how to keep this thing sharp. So the behavior of how I sharpen this is reinforced by the fact that it works on there, and it produces these beautiful strands of wood. Look at this. Whoop. That little guy's so cute. You know, you can almost read a newspaper through that, right? That's gorgeous, right? But you have to keep your scraper in just the right shape in order for that to happen. That sharpening of that scraper is reinforced by that little piece of wood that I just showed you. Ooh, here's a really, it broke. So anyway, you get really long ones on there. So gossamer, right? So anyway, so when you think about why people do stuff, that's what we want you to think about. What are they going to get out of it? What's the function, right? We think about functional. We want stuff to work. That's all we're doing here. This science of behavior is completely cool like that. It's not your typical BS out there that you see with psychology. It's not. It's completely different because we're actually looking at real things in the real world, stuff that happens like what you just saw. Then we can start to understand it, and then we can think about increasing it and decreasing it and so on and so forth. So when we talk about manning up, all right, we're talking about a class of behaviors, a bunch of behaviors that you need to do in order to represent that. Well, you're going to have to strengthen it, and you're going to have to punish some of the ones that are inappropriate. Started this cool group, right? Started this cool group on that principle, right? About strengthening the behaviors that are important to our society, important to our families. So, strengthen people, reinforce them for what they're doing right. That's how behavior works. Teach what to do. Don't just teach what not to do. All right, we'll come back again with something else. We'll end on that for now.